Okay, I am here today with Jamie, who has been using the OlyLife Therapy 90 foot machine. And I'm just asking, what's your experience been so far?
Well, I had a lot of health issues starting off, and I've found that there's been a tremendous relief for me. Um, I'm a long COVID survivor,
Okay.
as I've spoken with you about,
Yep.
and I had many side effects, up to a dozen.
Wow.
A lot of them have subsided, really slow going away. Some pretty strange ones like really scaly skin, that's gone away. I don't know if that might just happen with time. But I'll talk about a few of the really um, obvious ones to me. One was I
Okay.
was having insomnia about once a week,
Okay.
and pretty severe. And I thought it was diet, but I really worked on my diet. Couldn't really nail it down to specific. Happened a lot of times with really mild food. So I
Mm-hmm.
was just having this really like congested, because that's kind of where my COVID was centered, was through here.
Okay.
You know, a lot of upper respiratory, so it affected my, because that's all one area right there. It affected my food intake, and so I found that I would just have severe insomnia, where I'd be up for from 2 to 4, 2 to 5, about once a week,
Okay.
and maybe a little bit more sometimes. And I have found, since I've started this program, that's largely gone away. So my sleep patterns have been much beautifully increased, or my patterns are just much more rhythmical. Um, and that has really affected all areas of my life. I see my brain fog going away as well, and that's a big issue with this. I really, holistically, I've been doing a lot of things. I've been eating better. I've been watching what I've intake. So it's hard to tell what's affecting the most. But I gotta say, I know the days I don't do it and the days I do it, and it really helps. I feel invigorated on the days I do it, so I can be objective about that. It's my own little case study for me.
Yeah.
And I also see that um, the days I do it, I've been really consistent about it because I'm intentional about it. I really want to see health improvements, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the theory behind this. But I have found that um, the days I do it, I sleep better, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And my breathing, and I have shortness of breath, and those type of issues have been really mitigated. And my personal opinion and my personal experience with this, because I can see, twice a day for me is what I kind of do. Once in the morning, once in the evening, and then. But sometimes I'm not able to do it. Just busy lives,
Mm-hmm.
and at nighttime I sometimes forget. But I do absolutely notice the difference, and it's been to the point now where I am conscious about, okay, don't forget to do that, because it's yeah, I'm just trying to get my health back in line. The semblance of what I had pre-COVID, and
Mm-hmm.
I really want to. Um, I don't know if it's going to be quite back to the way it was, but because I'm doing so many wonderful aspects of my life, and it's only, it might even be better. Cognizantly, that hasn't come back all the way. Um, Most people can't tell that. I can tell it myself. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a general brain fog that's there a lot. But I do notice that even that has started to waft away. And I think sometimes it's hard to tell that because you're in your own little box. But I've had I was having a conversation with my daughter, and she had shared with me that you have come a long ways. Um, Back a year ago, she said my granddaughter had called out to me, and I was just staring off, didn't even hear her. I didn't even know this happened until she shared it with me. But she has noticed. So I see a lot of real positive changes with it.
Yeah. And how long ago was it when you were sick with the long COVID? Has it been a couple of years? And how long have you been using the OlyLife?
I got COVID in 2020 Halloween night.
Wow.
I was out for probably 6 weeks. Didn't quite go to the hospital. That was, if you remember the timing from back then, that was like, no, don't go to the hospital.
Yeah,
You know,
I remember that
didn't
well.
want to be intubated. So I was having real breathing issues, but I was able to do my own spirituality, my own practice, to calm myself down, because I didn't want to go in the hospital. I knew that. So I knew within 10 days of having COVID that this was not going to, it felt like a scar, metaphorically, like that's not going to go away. It might heal, but there's going to be some, I could tell that this was going to be a long-term deal. So I was able to kind of get back to work in about 2 months, and but then it was a slow recovery at that point, and it didn't really feel like much of a recovery. So going to 21, I kind of made it through it as best I could as because I was a driver here in the valley, but I realized I had health issues and really not conducive to good sleep patterns. So I dealt with this all the way up until October of last year is when I started using the OlyLife, and then it was hit or miss as best I could, and then I've really been concerted about it for, I don't know, 6-8 weeks now. So I've seen a ramping up of health benefits, and I'm actually excited about.
So in the beginning, when you were using the OlyLife, you were like using it occasionally because you didn't have your own machine,
Correct.
right? Okay. And so once you got your own machine at home and started using it twice a day, it really ramped up.
I noticed a tremendous change.
Okay. And then all during this time you've been using the OlyLife and you've had these improvements, what do you do for your work? You have a pretty physical job.
I work at Skyline Park.
Okay.
So I do a lot of physical stuff, and that's a lot of fresh air though. So that's actually been another really no stress, a lot of fresh air. Don't say no stress. There's inherent stress in wanting to do a good job, but I think that's a healthy stress. So that's my point, is I've made a lot of healthy aspect change, or a lot of healthy changes to my life in general. My intake's been a lot better, and the job is a lot less stressful, but there's definitely a physical job. Cutting trees and lifting this, and
I heard that after the last storm that your crew was out there and you guys did 281 trees on the trails inside of a week's time or something.
Yes, that's a true story.
So very,
and that's
very
just on the
physical.
Trails.
Yeah,
you know, well, that's the physical one. I'm just showing how many trees we lost.
Right.
But yes, and then down in the park raking, and because we got to clean it up, it's got to present well for the So there was it's still going on.
Yeah, so it's a really active job is my point. So while you're getting better, you've still this whole time been doing a lot of physical work.
And I've noticed, because when I started there, I was concerned that I couldn't handle 8 hours a day. So I was going 30 hours a week. 30 hours is what I was shooting at, because they were going to offer me medical benefits, and that seemed aggressive for me. But I also had to be realistic about it, and now I'm up to 40 hours, and I can work a little extra. And
when were you able to bump it up to 40?
it's hard for me to say. It just kind of went up incrementally.
Good.
Then I started picking up shifts, and then I don't need 3 shifts off. I'd like to go to 2 shifts off.
Nice.
And I don't need them. I can kind of work with that. They really, really work with me well out there. But all of a sudden, it's like now I'm wanting more and more, and I really didn't see this happening. I was kind of, I hate to say this, resigned to, well, this is just my new normal, And that's not typically the way I like to do things. It's a reminder to me to really watch your mindset as well. And like I've shared with you, lean into the placebo effect of, but I basically leaning into my health.
Yes.
And I find that actually working more is actually conducive, but I actually also feel like that I'm in a good position health-wise, finally.
Good, good. Well, thank you so much. And I know people are going to listen to this video and see it, and I'll thank you for them as well, because people really appreciate just hearing somebody's experience with this machine. It is very new technology. The pulsed electromagnetic frequency has been around since the 70s, but the terahertz is new, but very, very promising. And thank you so much.